Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Educational Hive. Today we are going to study class 7th ncert book Honeycomb, the first chapter, 3 questions.
Unit 2.
The king turned round and saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was flowing. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and found a large wound in his stomach. The king washed and covered it with his handkerchief, but the blood would not stop flowing. The king redressed the wound until at last the bleeding stopped. Here in this paragraph, it is talking about, you all remember in the last video, I stopped till unit 1. At last, the hermit said that someone is coming close to us. So, in this paragraph, it is talking about that man. So, as soon as the hermit say about that someone is running towards us, so the king turned round to see who the hermit had mentioned. A bearded man was running towards them with his hand on his stomach from where he was bleeding. When he reached their spot, means where the hermit and the king were standing, he lost on his stomach. The king washed the wound and covered it with his handkerchief to stop the bleeding, but it was bleeding heavily. The king did not give up. He kept on redressing the wound till the blood stopped. The man felt better and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. But this time the sun had set and the air was cool. The king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The man closed his eyes and lay quiet, the consciousness, and fell. The king and the hermit removed his clothing and found a big wound. The king, tired by his work and the work he had done, lay down on the floor and slept through the night. When he woke, it was several minutes before he could remember where he was or who the stranger beard man laying on the bed was. Forgive me, said the beard man in a weak voice, when he saw that the king was awake. I do not know you and have nothing to forgive you for, said the king. So, in this last paragraph, it is talking about the man gained the consciousness and asked for something to drink. So the king gave him some water. By the time it was getting dark and cooler, the king and the hermit carried the man to the hermit's hut and laid him on the bed. The man stayed still and quiet. The king also lay down on the floor due to exhaustions of the day's work. All of them slept through the night. When he woke the next day morning, it took some time to remember what has happened the previous night. The beard man asked the king, please forgive me, in a weak voice. As soon as the king woke, the king said that he does not know him and he has nothing to forgive him. You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore revenge on you because you put my brother to death and seized my property. I knew you had gone alone to see that hermit, and I made up my mind to kill you on your way home. But the day passed and you did not return. So I left my hiding place and I came upon your bodyguard, who recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from him, but I should have died if you had not dressed my wound. I wish to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I leave, I will serve you as your most faithful servant, and will order my sons to do the same. Forgive me. Now, in this paragraph, it is talking about the beerman now started explaining how he knew the king. He said that the king might not know him, but he knew the king. He also confessed that he was an enemy of the king who had come to kill him. He even explained that the king had killed his brother and took his property. He revealed all his plan to kill the king because he came to know that he had gone alone to meet the hermit. He also says that he waited a hiding place for the king to return. But since he did not return, so he came out from there. That was when the bodyguard recognized him and wounded him. He continued, it was finally the king himself who dressed his wounds and saved his life. The beard man felt bad that he had come to kill the king, but the king had saved his life. So he wished and asked the king to let him be his faithful servant, and I promise that he would order his sons to do the same. So please forgive me. So this is the explanation of this first paragraph. Then the king was very happy to have made peace with his enemy so easily and to have won him over as a friend. He not only forgave him, but he said he would send his servant and his own doctor to look after him, and he promised to give back the man his property. So, in the last paragraph, it is saying that the king was very much delighted that his deed has re-established friendly relation very easily with an enemy, right? He had made his enemy his friends who had promised to be faithful to him, and he forgave the beard man and promised to return the property that he had taken from him, and also sent his servants and doctor to take care of him. Leaving the wounded man, the king went out of the hut and looked round for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to get answer to his questions. The hermit was on his knees, showing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king went up to the hermit and said, "For the last time, I beg you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still bending down to the ground and looking up at the king as he stood before him. "How have I been answered? What do you mean?" So, in this two paragraph, it is saying that the king went out of the hut in search of the answer that he is very much eager to know. So, the king went out of the hut and searched for the hermit. The hermit was showing seeds in the small patches that they had dug the day before. Before leaving the woods, he asks again about the answers to his questions. So the king pleaded the hermit to give him the answer. But the hermit said his answer had already been answered. He did not even look up to the king, as he was still bending down to sow the seeds. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and had not dug these beds for me, you would have gone away. Then that man would have attacked you and you would have wished you had stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds." So here it is saying that the last part of this slide, the hermit explained to first question at first. If the king had not helped him dig the ground, he would have left early, and the enemy, that beard man, would have stabbed him. But the king did the right thing by taking pity on the hermit. He decided to help him. So that is the most important time that he saved that saved the king's life. "And I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were caring for him, because if you had not dressed his wound, he would have died without having made peace with you. So, he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business." So, in this paragraph, it is saying that the most important person at that time to the king was the hermit. The most important thing to do was to do the hermit some good help. Again, the same thing happened with the beard man also. The king carried for him the day before, the most important time, and the king dressed his own, the most important thing to do. And the king carried for the man in pain, the most important person. Remember then, there is only one time that is important, and that time is now. It is the most important time because it is the only time we have any power to act. The most necessary person is the person you are with at a particular moment, for no one knows what will happen in the future, whether we will meet anyone else. The most important business is to do that person good because we are sent into this world for that purpose alone. So here in this two small paragraph, it is explaining that the hermit then again explained about the most important time to do anything, that is now, because we have the power to act only in the present moment. The most important person is the person who you are with at a particular time. No one knows what will happen in the future or whether we will meet anyone else or not. The most important business is to do good deeds because we were sent into this world only for that purpose. I hope you all have understood the last unit of this chapter. Now in the next video, I will be bringing the summary and the exercise solution. That's all for today. Hope you like this explanation. If you want more videos like this, then please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you and have a nice day.